doing this. So, just quickly, one preference, and I'm going to go through this quicker than I meant to, but I really wanted to thank my friends and everybody else who came very long distance, and my family from New York, cousins from Hawaii, and the support that you feel from that is really wonderful. Thank you guys. And my friends from the Bay Area. It was difficult to get here, but they're all here, and thank you too. And I would give a quick shout out to Alex's oldest friends who are here. Michael, Daniel, Monty, Nikki, and Dave. You don't understand yet what it's like to see someone that has grown up before your eyes, or for some of you out of your eyes. And to see you today is incredibly moving, and someday you'll understand that. And even though I wanted to throttle all of you on occasion, I mostly remember what good friends you were to Alex, and the love and support you gave him in your own ways. And most importantly, you never made fun of his blankets. And here's a little preface to what I want to say. I grew up raised to disdain boasting. So it's sort of a little bit for me to overcome that and talk about my son in the glowing terms that I'm about to. And this rule of behavior, I'm pretty sure, comes from an old Jewish superstition that if you say kind or good or things or compliment somebody, you'll bring out the evil eye. And if you cause envy by complimenting people, terrible things can happen. So when you want to say something good about somebody, you have to say, kinahura. Okay? And that keeps the evil eye away for some reason. So you need to help me. When I say something that you think needs a kinahura, please shout out or say it silently, kinahura. Okay? So I have just a few random thoughts about Alex, okay? He was born happy and sweet. He virtually came out smiling. And of course, we've done everything we can to discourage this behavior. Evidently, we weren't as successful as we wanted to be. And he needs sunshine, literally and figuratively. So he persists in seeing the world as a sunny place. It's not that he's blind to injustice. He has an ample supply of compassion. I hear tell of the time during college when he was walking by and a group of bullies were harassing someone. They were a group of homophobes. He was gay. They were beating him. And Alex jumped in. And I think maybe alcohol might have played a role. But at least he wasn't fighting over the lead singer of UB40. So more recently, one night Alex and Tyson were walking in San Francisco, and Alex came upon some miscreant who was beating his wife. Oh. And pretty much the way I understand it, without thinking, he was there in between them. And the result was just a little bit of swelling and some black and blue, but the cops came and everything was better because of Alex. So, And I have another thought, and I haven't completely worked it out yet. But, so stick with me a little bit. And people have been saying this. And so since I already wrote it before I heard you all say it, so we know it's true, that he has a lot of self-knowledge, way beyond his years. It took me forever to get to the point where he is in his life. And I think that the more you know about yourself, the less you need pretense. And the lower your level of pretense, the more honest you can be. And perhaps the thing I admire most about Alex is his integrity. You can count on him to tell the truth, painful as that is sometimes. You can rely on him to deal fairly. He doesn't cheat or steal, though I hear he likes to gamble a little bit. Tell Alex a secret, and it stays that way. He doesn't gossip, and if he tells you he'll be there, he will be. I think it's particularly telling that Alex is favored by children. They love him. It's been this way for as long as I can remember. There are probably a million explanations for this, but maybe some of them. He experiences joy like no one I've ever known. He's good at having fun. He connects. His imagination is boundless. He's loyal and trustworthy as a Boy Scout. I know he's not a Boy Scout. He also is wise enough to know these things and other things about himself. I recently found a bunch of adoring letters that he received from his summer campers when he was a counselor, with promises of undying loyalty. It was adorable. And Elliot says that children have the best bullshit detectors. And they know when an adult is putting it on. And Alex doesn't put it on. And speaking of children, it will hearten some of you future parents to know that Alex didn't walk until he was almost 17 months old. And there were a bunch of little boys growing up on our block, and we would be outside, and the mothers would say, "Oh, don't worry." You know, their kids were running and dancing, and Alex would be wearing out his knees, the clothes on his knees. You know, and they said, "Well, he'll be fine." And I knew that, but I wanted to kill them. I'd like to round those people up now and show them my coordinated, graceful, beautiful son. Who was captain of his high school basketball team. Thank you very much. And I need to mention one more thing. No, I already mentioned that. The basketball brings me to the cheerleader. Caitlin. What is there to say about Caitlin? With Caitlin, it was love at first sight. Not Alex, necessarily. It might have been, but Elliot and I, it was love at first sight. But just like he said, her induction into our family was seamless. It was amazing how she just fit right in. And we the first time we met her, we all took a walk down to the farmer's market near our house. And she talked to me about her passion for healthy living and her goals and how she wanted to make her career out of teaching people how to be healthy. And I immediately knew that she was a woman, you could tell, with passion and ambition, and she was going places. And now I see how she embraces change and is willing to take chances. Most of all, I love her passion, but these other things are amazing qualities. Her heart is wide open, And in the short time that we've known her, she's taught us how to open our hearts. So the most important sign that Caitlin Alex was truly one of us was the night she told us the story about growing up and how her brothers used to take her pillows and fart in them. We knew that was it. She belonged in our family. And if you still have any doubts about their suitability, let me describe something to you. Some of us here in the room were at her wedding shower. And at the shower, there was a game, and Alex had been given a bunch of questions. And then Caitlin's job was to guess what his answers were. And it was astonishing how many she got right and how esoteric some of them were. And she still got them right. And one example is, the question was, what does the groom love most about the bride? He said, quote, "The appropriate answer would be her smile. But really, it's her backside." She said, when to guess his answer, he wouldn't want to dishonor my grandmother, so he'd say my smile, but he really loves my behind. And so it went. The moral is that they know themselves and each other in a way that predicts a strong team, a meeting of the minds, and a marriage filled with fun, support, and lots of love. They balance each other. Compliment. Compliment is defined as a thing that completes or brings to perfection. Doesn't that describe Caitlin and Alex's relationship to a T? So, one quick thing in closing. I like to say that in-laws often get a bad rap. And when I grew up thinking that in-laws was a pejorative term. And 20 years ago, my mother-in-law and I had a conversation, and she was complaining about her son-in-law. And I said, well, you know, it seems to me that people usually think that their kids haven't picked someone good enough for them because your kids are always perfect. I mean, we didn't really think that, but... So my mother-in-law was sitting there, she thought about it, she says, "I think you're right." I went, oh, okay. But we moved on. And you know what? We were both wrong. In-laws are just people, and therefore they defy classification as a group. Now that I have a little more experience with in-laws, I could smack myself upside the head. Here's my opportunity to say I love you under cloak of a crowd. My son-in-law Joe is as good as it gets. I feel like his parents are old and dear friends. They came all the way from Connecticut to celebrate with us. And so I need to thank Alex for bringing Caitlin, all the Nobles, the Lindleys, and the Morrises into our lives. We're already enriched by knowing them. And getting to know them, feeling their warmth and readiness to include us. Does it get any better than that? To adding people to your life who will share love. So, well, one more thing. Last one. Alex said to me a little while ago, "I'm keeping track of how much time you spend with Lily and Jacob." So I think I can speak on behalf of Tom and Melanie and Elliot and say, bring it on.